Hello there and welcome to Inquiring Minds. My name is Doug and I'm back with another Murray's Moments Quickie fountain pen review. Every time I go to my Calgary Pen Club meetup, I come away with more pens than I arrive with. Last week was no exception, and it's all because of our Calgary Pen Club's fearless leader, the Grand Imperial Poobah himself, my man Murray. He's always tempting me with pens from his awesome collection. Last Saturday, he even put out the advance notice of a meeting with a note that said, "Please bring a pen that you think Doug or Stephen," that's Stephen S.B.R.E. Brown, "should review." I actually brought 3 of Murray's pens back to him that I hadn't even gotten to yet. There were 2 Montegrappas and this, I think I've lost it. No, I haven't lost it. And this Visconti Wall Street, beautiful pen. I'll get to that one real soon. Well, I left those other pens with him because he tempted me with several pens, 4 of which I borrowed for review. And here are the 4. We'll deal with that one last. A Conway Stewart Winston Churchill, a Conway Stewart Wordsworth. I'm going to deal with those 2 pens in one video by themselves and sort of compare them. And this gorgeous sterling silver Pilot Mount Fuji from the Sterling series. You got to see this nib. You'll be seeing that. I'm writing with it right now. And the pen we're going to focus on today, this Montblanc Around the World in 80 Days 146 LeGrand. And this is the first Montblanc that has really knocked my socks off the moment I wrote with it. So let's take a look at it right now. And before I show you the details, let me read from the Montblanc website about this pen. The Meisterstück Around the World in 80 Days collection is inspired by the famous adventure novel by Jules Verne. The LeGrand fountain pen in anthracite precious resin draws on the second leg of the journey from Bombay to Yokohama. The main characters travel in this part of the adventure on a majestic elephant, which is featured on a cartouche on the cap. The clip features a red lacquered diamond card suit, and the cone is engraved with a pattern inspired by Princess Uda's jewelry and the card suits, representing Mr. Fogg's wager to make the journey in 80 days. The cap top is embossed with the length of the journey, 25 days from Bombay to Yokohama, and the 80 days of the total journey. The writing instrument is furnished with a handcrafted 14-karat gold nib garnished with the hot air balloon with 2010 and 1411. Mr. Fogg leaves Bombay at 20 hours on 20 October and leaves Yokohama at 18 hours on the 14th of November. And those features are all very well and good. But what impressed me about this pen wasn't the Around the World in 80 Days, the special engravings, the cartouche, or the Jules Verne connection. It was the nib on this pen itself. Plus the fact that this is the LeGrand, or the 146 size fountain pen, which is the size smaller than a Montblanc 149. And that particular size of pen just seems to fit my hand perfectly. It's just a brilliant balance, posted or unposted. Of course, it's a piston filler with a slotted ink window, but let me talk about this nib for a moment. This is not a normal nib that comes with a Montblanc 146 LeGrand, or even with the special version Around the World in 80 Days. Yes, it has the balloon on it and everything, but this is a bespoke nib, custom ordered by Murray. He bought the pen at Reids Stationery here in Calgary and ordered a custom ground oblique double broad 14-karat gold nib. It took 8 weeks for it to be delivered to Murray, and it was how this nib writes on the page, which is what captured my imagination immediately. So let's get some paper out and see how this pen writes. And this is the Montblanc 146 or LeGrand, and it is the special Around the World in 80 days. It has a 14-karat gold number 6 size nib and is an oblique double broad. So it gets you very thin lines in the horizontal and very nice broad thick lines in the vertical. So it's very stub-like, and it is ultra smooth and just as juicy as you can imagine. Let's get some ink running on the page here. It's all very, very wet. Beautiful, smooth. When I put this nib to paper and wrote with it, I let out an audible gasp and said, OMG, which delighted Murray no end. It's just delightful. In any fashion at all, whether you're cursive writing or printing, sketching, you get so many different line variations, and it's my favorite line variation type nib. One that doesn't make me work at all at it, just effortless character to your writing. So again, I'm not all that thrilled with all of the extra kind of collectible nature of some of these Montblanc pens, whether they're part of this series or that series or this special edition or that special edition. Those kind of things don't impress me all that much. But how the nib writes on the page and how the pen feels in the hand are paramount. And this particular pen happens to fall into my hand beautifully. And that oblique double broad 14 karat gold nib is just sublime on the page. So I'll be writing with this pen for about a year or so just to evaluate it carefully enough to do a full review of the pen to make sure that I'm not just being overly gushy about an expensive fountain pen. Of course, this pen isn't inexpensive. I think it retails on the Montblanc website for $1,055 US, and that's with a regular 14 karat gold nib, like in a medium or a fine or what have you. Add that extra custom-made oblique double broad nib, and you've got quite a price tag on your hands. So now that it's used, maybe I'll have to discuss this with Murray to see whether he can knock some price off it, because, you know, it's been around the block a couple of times now. So it's what you might call a demonstrator, so we'll see about a discount. I'm just teasing, of course. Thank you very much, Murray, for loaning me this pen for review. You'll get it back real soon now. And thanks for watching.
I made this.